Hi, welcome along to NUFC Matters. My name's Steve Wraith.
And I'm Malcolm MacDonald.
Malcolm, 2 games since we last did a podcast. Absolutely fantastic. 2 home wins, 2 clean sheets, and we're further up the table now than we've been for a long, long time, sitting in 13th place when we finished on Tuesday night. So it's been great. Let's look at Huddersfield first.
Yeah, because arguably you could look on both of those games as 6-pointers.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's not just the 3 points gained, but it's what the other sides are losing as well. 100%. So important.
Look at Huddersfield first. It was a comprehensive performance. I think Huddersfield come to St James's Park. They were bottom of the league, but sometimes that's not the easiest game to take on in front of 52,000 people. As
we recall Fulham earlier in the season, which was absolutely shocking. And I really was quite concerned and worried that it might be a repeat performance of that, but it wasn't. It was anything but. And I have to say, Almiron, I thought he energised a lot of people in the side, and I thought that all sorts of good things were happening. I was disappointed to read in the next day that the sort of newspapers were saying, well, it was because of the sending off and Huddersfield going down to 10 men, that Newcastle then starting to get on top. I thought they were well on top. It was just a question of when they were going to score. Huddersfield never really had a shot at all. In fact, I don't think they've had a shot this year, by the way they play. And so I was really pleased with the way that Newcastle got themselves forward. They were looking to probe, and Huddersfield are very organised at the back. Yeah. Very organised.
Yeah.
It's just up front that they struggle. And on the sending off, there was a bit of argument as to whether it was a good decision or not. I thought it was. I thought, personally, that the Huddersfield player targeted Almiron. I think his pace is frightening the sides, and I think that they looked to crock him. And it was a purposeful act, and the referee saw it, realised what it was, and got the decision absolutely right. Almiron's going to frighten a lot of sides with his pace. It's the most frightening strength that a forward can have for defenders. And from there, I just get the feeling that Newcastle now, they're playing with a greater purpose. Almiron with Rondon, Perez is looking a bit of a player all of a sudden. That he's reading into all of this and he's looking to play off Rondon with a lot more purpose than he ever has been. Midfield players are wanting to get it forward and get in contact with the forwards a lot more than they have been in the past. And I think that the whole performance against Huddersfield, it was so positive. And when you think that Newcastle, they not just scored 2 goals, but I think they hit the woodwork. Was it 5 times?
Yeah, 5 times, yeah.
It was, wasn't it? 5 times. So it could easily have been a bit of a cricket score. And well done Newcastle for that. I thought it was absolutely terrific on the day. And it was just what was needed. And we saw enough of Almiron and his pace. And of course, unfortunately, he hit the post. As soon as he scores his first goal, he's going to take off. I really believe that. And what impressed me also about him is that he's looking all the time at his teammates around. He's wanting to see what they're doing so he can react off them. And he's looking to accommodate them within the way he plays. And I thought there's a generous streak to him, but at the same time, he is a bit of a streak once he gets running.
Yeah, 100%. So then we played Burnley on Tuesday night, and I think there was a few raised eyebrows at the start when we realised that there had been a change. Only the one change, but Manquillo coming in to replace De Yedlin. Good move by Rafa?
Yes, I think so. And the reason for that is I don't think that Yedlin understands how to play in a back five.
Yeah.
It's fairly straightforward for the three centre halves. They pretty well know what their task is. You've got one in the middle and you've got one either side, and it's as simple as that. But where do the fullbacks fit in? That they play a more advanced role. And Yedlin, for all his pace and for the fact that he's not a good defender at all, gets caught so often. What he's also proving to me is that he doesn't know what to do when he gets forward.
Yeah.
And Manquillo, he likes to play in a more advanced role than fullback anyway, even if it's a back four. But with it being a five, you can afford to let him do that. And when he does get forward, he knows what to do. Mm-hmm. And so he's a lot more positive than Yedlin, I think, and a lot more suitable to the way Newcastle are playing. And I've been very critical of the fella. I really have. I've given Manquillo some absolute stick earlier in the season. But I think he's really well suited to this, and he's starting to show a few skills as well. And he can get the ball in, and he gets his head up. Yedlin's a little bit of a headless chicken at times.
Dubrovka took some stick in recent weeks, but he's back to his best now. And that performance against Burnley, I mean, and against Huddersfield, 2 clean sheets, but I thought against Burnley, to come out as he did, he took the pressure off his back four. They've got some dangerous strikers. Burnley gone 9 games without a defeat. They'd won 5 in a row. They had Ashley Barnes and they had Chris Wood and obviously Peter Crouch coming off the bench. All big lads, all capable, big, strong lads of causing chaos in the box. And Dubrovka came out and really took the pressure off his back four on Tuesday night.
He really did. And he came out so full of confidence that his couple of slip-ups of late have made no difference to his confidence whatsoever. He was coming out and he was coming out 12 foot tall.
Yeah.
And it was great to see. And you could tell by the reaction of the defenders that he was coming out screaming, that he was on his way. And for them to just move out of the way, let him have a clear run at it. And even when defenders didn't move out, he just clattered them. Mm-hmm. And good for him. That's what a goalkeeper should do. Once they're committed, go all the way. And it doesn't matter who you finish up crashing into. And he did absolutely brilliant. So it's good to know that he can make a mistake and not be affected by it in the long term at all. It's, oh well, sorry about that, guys, but let's get on with it. And that's exactly what he does. He gets on with it. And he's a super keeper. He really is. And so he I think he's built everybody's confidence in him back up again with his performance in these last 2 games. Great to have 2 clean sheets, for both the goalkeeper and for the side in general. It's a long time since anybody scored against Newcastle, and that just builds and breeds confidence. There's that, and I have to say that that back three, it's starting to look hugely organised and very effective at what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Very effective. Playing in the way that they do, with Lejeune on one side, Fernandez on the other, I think is the perfect way of doing it. Leave the captain in the middle to sort it there, but the other two, and of course they will get forward. And I have to say, what a cracking goal that was. Sorry, I said Fernandez, didn't I?
No,
I meant Shah.
Yeah.
I meant Shah. I beg your pardon.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was a super strike. And normally or as a manager, I would berate a goalkeeper if he got beat on his near post.
Mm-hmm.
Understand it getting beat on your far post, but on your near post, that particular area, you just don't let it go in there.
Mm-hmm.
But the strike from Shah, my word, it was moving, and I think just at the crucial moment, as it sort of suddenly veered away from the goalkeeper, went in off the post, and fabulous strike, absolutely, and only that morning I'd been reading that Heaton was becoming the preferred goalkeeper for the national side. Well, I'm not so sure after that one.
You mentioned Fernandez. Fernandez and Shelvey, couldn't even make the squad, and I think that shows you now amazingly the strength and depth we seem to have with everybody on, everybody on duty, nobody on the missing list, and obviously a couple of acquisitions in the transfer window. But we suddenly have this squad, which at the moment is very, very strong and looks as if it could really have a good flourish towards the end of the season. Can you see Shelvey, Fernandez getting back in if before the end of the season, or if this team plays as well as it has been over the last 6 or 7 games? Can you see this being the team that Rafa goes with more or less till the end of the season?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shelvey, I'm not so sure that Rafa is a Shelvey fan.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure, and the reason why I say that is that time and again I was watching Shelvey, and he would go back in amongst the centre halves. And he'd say, "Oh, give me the ball here." But the centre halves can do it. They are perfectly capable of coming out with the ball so that midfield players can get pushed up. Shelvey was dropping so deep. Diame didn't know what to do, and because to keep in contact with the other central midfielder, he was having to go all the way back and was just in front of the centre halves to try to keep in contact. And once Shelvey and Diame had the ball, the forwards are like 60 yards up the other end. And you can't play from there. What Matt Ritchie didn't know where to go, didn't have a clue. And you could see them all saying, "Come on, get pushed up." And it was just creating this huge void in the middle of the park, so that there was a forward line, there was a huge back line, but there was nothing in the middle at all, and so playing the games pretty much stopped as far as Newcastle was concerned, and the main culprit was Shelvey, without any shadow of a doubt. When Shelvey went out, Diame suddenly flourished, looked a much better player. So you could see that he was being detrimentally affected by Shelvey. And in all honesty, I wouldn't want to see Shelvey get back in the side. I know that might sound a bit harsh on him. He is a good player, but the way Newcastle are playing now, they're playing on the front foot. Not on the back foot, where Shelvey, he wants to live on his back foot, and not good enough. He wants to get amongst the centre halves. What we want to see him is getting into the opposing box. But he just hasn't been doing it enough at all this last season. And so, come the summer, it wouldn't surprise me if Rafa would have let him go.
I think I found Sean Longstaff's weakness.
Go on.
I saw it on Saturday against Huddersfield.
Well, I missed it.
He cannot get on the end of his own crosses.
Oh.
He's doing remarkably well. I mean, for a young lad coming into the
Fantastic.
team, we said it before, he's talking a good game, but he's playing a good game, and he got his first goal. What would that have felt like for him to get his first goal in front of the Leazer's end?
You would be amazed at the weight that just lifts off your shoulders. And that's what Almira needs. And we've seen it with Rondon this season, and we saw it with a young lad, and I was absolutely delighted with him. Not only does he appear to be a great enthusiast, and you can see him, he goes on the pitch and he's bubbling, and he's in contact all the time, and all of his teammates, they love him.
Yeah.
You can see by their reaction, and Longstaff is making the team smile.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to go about your game, with a big smile on your face. That means that you're enjoying it, and if you're enjoying it, you're doing really well. And he's putting that smile on everybody's face. I haven't seen him yet do anything complicated.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see him do it, because just by being so simple in the way he goes about the game, it is so effective, and that simpleness, that simplicity, it absolutely destroys sides.
Of course it does, yeah.
It really does. And both Huddersfield and Burnley are incredibly organised in just about every way. They didn't know what to do and how to play against him.
Yeah.
And yet he wasn't dropping back like Shelby was doing into the back four. He was prepared to keep pushing, but he would just find that little bit of space, get the ball, move it on. And I played with a guy called Alan Ball, who was a World Cup winner in '66, and I played with him at Arsenal and for England. And he used to say that when he got the ball, he would move it on with his first touch, and if it doesn't come with my first touch, it'll definitely come to you with my second touch, because I've never had a third touch in my life. And Longstaff is a bit like that.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to have that third touch, because his head's up, he's looking around, he can see everything that's going on all of the time, and he's got a super ability of controlling the ball, and so he can control it, still be looking around, and then he can just knock it with his second touch, and doesn't need that third touch.
No.
And it's always effective. It's always taking the ball into space to give somebody a chance of a run down the flank or wherever, or he's looking to slot it through for a forward to get turned on his defender and maybe get a shot in. And he gets forward into the box. When he actually scored against Burnley, he was 7 yards out.
Yeah.
Shelby, he didn't get within 7 yards of the penalty area. Never mind the 6 yard box.
Let's finish off this podcast with a prediction to this weekend's game. West Ham United away. Mixed bag down there. We've had some good days and we've had some bad days, but how do you see that going?
Through the week, West Ham, they did ever so well to keep Man City down to just one goal, albeit West Ham couldn't score, so they lost 1-0. But it was a penalty that was scored against them that they actually stopped Man City from scoring an open play. That's a feat in itself. And albeit their game before, it was against Fulham, and Fulham were running rings around them. They got a goal up early in the game, and it was a rare few minutes for Fulham to be on top. So, and it was only with a handball that they equalised. Fernandez, and it was without a shadow of a doubt. He was there with his hand and knocked it over the line. And so a bit of cheating got them back into the game. And if it hadn't been for that, West Ham looked as if they were really struggling.
Yeah.
So that in itself is a message, I think, to Newcastle, that you need to get pushed on to West Ham. You need to get into their back four, look to get a lead early on, and then make sure that you hold on to it. None of the nonsense that West Ham were able to accomplish against Fulham. So, but It's going to be difficult. It will be a really difficult game. West Ham, they can really play some, but then I've seen them really bad, and I've seen them really good. You don't know which side's going to come out on Saturday, but the way Newcastle have been playing of late, I don't think that they should be afraid of anybody at all, least of all West Ham, and they should go with the confidence that they've built up, and that back three that we have, those three centre halves, if they keep it absolutely tight, as they have been doing, then they're going to make it life very difficult for West Ham. Yeah. And once you're making it difficult for a side away from home, then you can capitalise.
Prediction?
Do you know, it's a real difficult one, this. And on my way here to the studio here, I've been tossing that question about. I think that Newcastle have the ability to go down there and win.
Yeah.
But they've got to be really on their top form. But the way that they've gone in these last two games, I'm going to say that West Ham won't score and that Newcastle will. So I'm going to take a 1-0 victory for Newcastle.
Okay, I'm going for 2-1, so we'll see what the predictions, whether the predictions come true for next week. Just a final thing, if you want to visit newcastlelegends.com, Malcolm and I obviously are available to come out and do talk-ins, especially for non-league clubs who are struggling to raise money for the forthcoming season. You know, whether you're a club who plays Sunday or Saturday league football, or you're in the Alliance or the Northern League, then please feel free to give us a shout at newcastlelegends.com. We're more than happy to discuss coming along and doing something for you. But from me and from Malcolm, we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.